back. It's finally time for a black seed oil update. I've been using this product now for about 7 months, so I'm here to let you guys know my thoughts, my experiences, the ups, the downs, the ins and outs, and what else I also use the product for now. So go ahead and stay tuned. But before we get into that, if you have not watched my part 1 video where I told you about the changes I experienced after only a week's use of the product, please go ahead and check that out now. Also, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Again, I do a lot of different topics. This is what they call a lifestyle vlog, I guess. So anything that's of interest to me or that might be interesting to others and I take a passion in, I'll actually review it, talk about it, discuss it, whatever, and bring it to you. I don't do clickbait. I don't sensationalize anything. It is what it is. If you think it's boring, oh well. But I definitely think there's a need for some just normal conversation on YouTube and less acting, more just talking and giving you honest opinions. So that is what I do. If you're interested, go ahead and click subscribe. So now let's get into the good stuff. Okay, so again, I've been using this product now for about 7 months, and y'all, I'm sorry about the lighting. The sun, the clouds are in and out, and I wanted to do natural light today. Anyway, this is what I'm using. The Amazing Herbs Black Seed Oil. I take the tablets 1 to 2 times a day, 2 pills each dose. I also have the liquid version, and I use this topically as needed. And I've also tried it orally. We'll talk about that as well. And I also have a little dropper bottle, about a 1 ounce bottle. And I use that more so for the topical application because I don't want to contaminate this. So usually if I'm going to take the loose oil or mix it into something, and again, we'll talk about why I do that, I'll pour it directly from this. If it's something I'm handling a lot, I'll use the dropper bottle to apply it because I don't want to mix the oral use containers with the topical use too much. I feel like stuff gets in it and eventually it kind of contaminates the bottle. I don't know what the effect of that is, but that's just mentally, that's just how I process it, and I'd rather not do that. So anyway, let's see. Okay, what have I noticed after 7 months? So I do notice my allergies have greatly improved. I've taken a couple of breaks, and every time I've taken a break from the tablets, my allergies gradually sneak back up on me. As I'm taking them, the effect does not wear off as far as the allergy relief. It consistently keeps my allergies away. I'm not doing all that sniffling. I'm not getting all that raspiness from the drainage. I'm not getting the itchy eyes, the headaches, any of that stuff. So I've noticed after 7 months of pretty much consistent use with a couple of breaks that it is a great allergy relief treatment. I noticed that when I take breaks from the pills, my appetite changes. So with the pills, it seems like my blood sugar is a little more stabilized. And I say blood sugar because I don't know if I mentioned it in my first video. I was at one point pre-diabetic. When I went back for updates after making some minor changes to my diet and also taking these pills, I'm well back in regular range. But I've also noticed even when I'm eating a lot of junk, because I've had some blood work done a couple of times since then because I had a procedure done, I got sick, all this other stuff. So I've noticed that I'm still maintaining a healthy blood sugar range. Also, your appetite can be an indicator of unstable blood sugar. So when you have all these ravenous cravings, there's so many different reasons why that could be, but also unstable blood sugar could be the reason when you're taking a lot of dips and increases throughout the day that can affect how you crave certain foods. Well, I've noticed that when I'm consistently on a black seed oil, those cravings kind of subside and my I'm more easily satiated and I don't feel like I need to keep eating. Now that's not an immediate effect that I've noticed. I've noticed with that I have to kind of consistently be taking it for a couple of weeks before I get that effect. Don't think that after the first day you're just gonna not want to eat anything. It's not a what do you call it? It's not an instant thing. It takes some time. Energy levels, I've noticed after 7 months of use, I will say I don't see as much of a increase in energy. I don't experience so much fatigue except for when I'm not getting enough sleep, which there's very little to combat that's healthy. You gotta get sleep. So as far as like that little boost, I think that kind of has waned. I don't get that effect as much. Now, I will say that there have been times where I've tried the loose oil, so this in a tablespoon versus taking the pills, and I do notice that that seems to have a bitter boost. Like that does still give me a boost, but for some reason and taking the tablets, I don't get as much of an energy boost as I do when I take the liquids. And when the energy boost that I do get is very inconsistent from the tablets. So I'm wondering if other things, if it's absorbed better, even though it's supposedly the same product. I just wonder if you can stomach the loose oil, if that's a little bit better than taking the tablets. So I don't know if you have any experience with that, with just the difference in taking tablets or capsules versus an oil version of a substance. If you have any experience with whether that affects the potency, just let me know in the comments below, because my joint pains. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in the first video. I'm pretty sure I did, but black seed oil is known for helping with inflammation. So that, the allergies are a part of that. Skin problems are a part of that. Joint pains are a big part of that. And I do suffer from joint pains because I have been told I might have a mild form of osteoarthritis. I do not have those joint pains when working out or just throughout the day as much when I'm taking the black seed oil. That has not subsided. That has consistently remained the same. So I'm letting you know this because, and this is why it took me so long to make the video, because 1 week of use, you kind of get, you know, you get the idea of it. A month or two of use, you kind of know, you know, if it's something that you can tolerate and keep taking. But as far as whether or not your body is going to adjust to where it doesn't affect it as positively anymore, I have not really experienced that for most things related to me taking the black seed oil. Okay, so other uses. Let me check my time, guys. Okay, I tend to ramble, so I'm timing myself. Anyway, other uses. So I had a procedure. I have a video about that. I had an abdominoplasty, a tummy tuck done. And as a result of that, of course, I had an incision line that I had to take care of. So what I noticed is that there's this thing called spitting sutures. Anybody who's had any kind of procedure that requires the skin to be sewn back together, so suture back together, could have this. And it's where your body kind of rejects certain sutures. It's really gross to look at, but it's not necessarily harmful. Kind of have to just let it go through the process. And what it does is sometimes it causes the wound to kind of on a surface level reopen. It just looks gross, whatever. And you might not just spit one, you might spit one and then the next one spits. It's so gross, guys. So the doctor gave me an ointment, and the ointment was primarily to serve to keep the wound moisturized from one, and also to keep it from getting infected. It did not help with stopping the suture from spitting, the healing time frame, or anything. What I noticed after spitting a couple of sutures is that it's a long process. It's a couple of weeks for it to go through the whole process of it starting to get a little irritated, starting to open up a little bit before it finally gets rid of the suture it doesn't like and then starts to heal again. What I did was a little experiment on my own. I don't suggest, y'all don't be like me and be hard-headed. Let people like me experiment for you, and then you can see how it works for you. I knew that a lot of oils that are associated with helping promote healing and again reducing inflammation, and that is a form of inflammation. When your body doesn't like something, it gets inflamed. It sends all the little white blood cells and all these little soldiers to go fight off whatever it doesn't like. But sometimes the result of that is it can do it too much and it can cause irritation. That to me is what spitting sutures comes from. So anyway, on one part of, I did a little experiment. I had sutures spitting on two different sides. I put oil on one side, and I don't suggest, like, again, trying this yourself, because it could have went all left with me doing that. Okay, this is a big incision we're talking about. But I put the oil on one side. On the other side, I just continued to use the ointment. And what I noticed, and I did this a couple of times because I've had several of the sutures that caused some irritation. What I noticed was that the side that I put the black seed oil on, it literally calmed the irritation so that it didn't get to the point of opening up and releasing the suture completely. It kind of reversed it, and it promoted the healing a lot quicker. I did this 3 different times where I would try on one part of a wound, I would try just the antibiotic ointment, and on the other side of the wound, I would try the black seed oil. Now guys, again, you might want to ask your doctor about this. My personal experience though, already cleared by the doctor, there was no infection. He looked at the pictures, the nurse looked at the pictures. There was no infection, no anything like that going on. So make sure before you start treating your own wounds that you are clear that there's not a bigger issue going on. None of that was going on. It was simply spitting sutures, and the black seed oil helped heal me in days as opposed to weeks. I also have used it on my kids' wounds and things like that. And so wound treatment is wonderful. One of the final points that I want to touch on, things that I've learned about the black seed oil, use in kids or use as a, I don't know what you call it, as needed basis. So I had to stop it a couple of times. I had to stop it before my surgery because it does have blood thinning components to it, I guess, and it could thin out your blood. Anytime you're going to get surgery done, they're going to ask that you stop things like that so that you don't bleed out. So in between time, there was a couple of weeks that I didn't use it, but there was also a point in time where I got sick, and I have historically am known for catching colds, upper respiratory infections, sinus infections, and it lingers for me for ever. One of my kids is the same way. Always allergies, or when they get sick, it just takes forever to get completely over it, where there's no cough left, no congestion left, no runny nose, any of that stuff. One of my kids got sick, and I knew the process, and I knew how long it takes for them to start feeling better. It's my older son as far as getting over a cold. So what I did was, when he was getting sick and when I noticed his fever was like coming back, and again spoke to the nurse over the phone, it didn't seem like anything that he needed to be seen for. I took some emergency for kids, mixed that up, put a little bit of honey in there, and then I also took some of the black seed oil and put a couple of drops because of the flavor, just enough, and I made him like down it. I was like, don't think about it, just drink it. I will say that I have noticed when I do this, either when their sinuses are getting bad or when he's had a cold, it has cut that sick time down. I firmly believe it's cut the sick time down, it's cut down on the amount of fever, it's cut down on the allergies. Now, I do not recommend giving this to kids on a regular basis as a supplement, and here's why. I am all for natural healing, I'm all for different herbs, but they are still medications, and people have this idea that if it comes from the earth, it's not a medication. Even every synthesized drug that you use is based off of some function of a natural remedy. It's based off of some function of a natural substance. They may pull out certain elements of that substance, synthesize it, and reproduce it, but most of that stuff is based off of natural elements. Just because it comes from the ground doesn't mean it can't harm you. There's not a whole lot of research, if any at all, about black seed oil. So definitely with kids who are growing and developing their nervous systems, immune systems, all those types of things, I would hesitate to give them something like this as a regular supplement. If you insist on doing it, I would say please let your pediatrician know, and please start off in very small doses. But as far as for immediate needs for treatment of sicknesses, wounds, everything like that, I strongly recommend it. So yeah, guys, this is my update. I still stand by the product. I do, however, want to try another brand and see, because I've heard that, you know, the brand does matter, and it makes sense. That's for any product. I don't know that this is the most potent. I have not had any problems with this, but again, some of the effects as far as how it's helped with my energy, it's kind of hit or miss. I don't know if it's inconsistencies in the production or if it's just that my body has gotten used to it. So if you know of another brand of black seed oil that you might want to recommend I try, please put it in the comments and let me know, because I'm really interested in trying another brand, and then maybe I'll do a comparison video for you all, because I've been on this one so long. I feel like I can let you know pretty clearly whether or not there's a strong difference. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to me ramble. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you liked this video. There is more coming, and I hope you all have a great day. Until next time, see you later.